Hello and welcome to cover design tutorial number 3. In this tutorial we're going to look how we can add text in Photoshop. We're going to look a little bit at fonts and typography, and by the end of the tutorial hopefully you'll be able to create something a little bit like this. Now, I'd be the first to admit that this isn't the most complex design ever made. However, sometimes simple does equal effective. Let's strip the design back to the bones by hiding the layers I've created. We can do this by clicking the little eye icons on individual layers. As you can see, the individual parts of the design disappear until we're left with the image that we created originally in tutorial 2. I'm going to start by recreating the title layer. So what we need to do to begin with is select Layer, New and Layer, and we'll call it Title. Adding text in Photoshop is relatively straightforward. You simply click on the T icon. You'll then be able to type into the design wherever you place the cursor. So if I click here, I'll type in the title, which is SPARKS. Now, as you can see, the text is currently rather small. As I mentioned in tutorial 2, the techniques for scaling images are the same for really any type of layer. So if we select Edit, Transform and Scale, hold down the Shift key, grab a corner and make the text bigger. Once you're happy with the size of the text, just press the Enter key after ensuring the window is highlighted, and the scaling will be complete. Now, often with title text, sometimes the title needs to stand out a little bit more. So we're going to investigate now what you can do with layer styles when it comes to text. So if we double click on the layer for the title, this will open layer styles. One of the things I'm going to try initially is bevel and emboss. Perhaps we could try maybe applying a gradient overlay to the text. We could apply a stroke outline to the text. Of course, that looks fairly hideous in red. You can easily change the colour to white, for example, which once again doesn't look particularly attractive. So if I remove the gradients, I'm more or less happy with how the text appears with just a simple bevel and emboss. So we click OK. So once you've created the title and you're happy with the way it looks, there's absolutely no reason to reinvent the wheel for the text for the spine. What we're going to do now is select the layer, make sure it's highlighted, and select Layer, Duplicate Layer. Now if we select Edit, Transform, rotate clockwise, we can now use the Move tool to move the text into the spine position. Now, as we need to make sure it's exactly positioned for the spine, we can scroll down. We've got the template layer visible in the background. So a quick way of being able to see this is to just make the background image slightly transparent. So if we double click on the layer, bring up the layer styles and just adjust the opacity. As you can see there, where I've positioned the spine text, it's not actually going to render properly on the spine. So if I click OK here, click on the copy of the layer and use the Move tool to move it exactly into position. I can now change the opacity back, and as you can see, we've got the spine text perfectly positioned. So next up is what I've termed the subtitle text. So in order to add this, we need to create a new layer, Layer, New, Layer, and I'll call it Subtitle. We need to choose a different font for this. So if we select the text tool, from the drop down list you get a little preview of what the font looks like, but I know exactly the font I want. It's called League Gothic. So I've now selected League Gothic and I can type in the subtitle text. Once you've typed in the text, the next thing we need to do is scale it up a bit. So if we do Edit, Transform, Scale. Now don't forget to hold down the Shift key, grab the corner and make the text bigger. What I'm trying to do is sort of nestle the text in the sort of the curve of the light bulb. That looks about right to me. So if you push enter, that will scale the text. And finally, we need to add the author's name. So if we select Layer, New, Layer, and I'll just call it Name. I'm going to keep the same font, which is Lead Gothic. So the text tool's already selected, the layer's already selected. So I'll just click approximately where I need to place the text and type in the author's name. Once again, Edit, Transform, Scale. Now this time when I'm scaling, I actually want to make the text a little bit sort of narrow in terms of height, so we can actually scale down, scale up. Now as you can see here, there's a slight problem in the sense that the text when it overlaps the light bulb, it's much harder to read it. If I push enter to scale, I'm going to go into the layer style, select stroke. Now I don't want to leave it as red, but what I can do here to make it legible is select black. You can adjust the size of the stroke. I just want a very fine stroke, enough to make it readable. There we go, that's absolutely fine. And I might just put a little bit of bevel and emboss. No, that's too much. I'm going to leave it as it is and click OK. Once again, we don't need to duplicate the text for the spine of the book. So if I select the layer, and select Layer, Duplicate Layer, Edit, Transform, rotate it clockwise. Now select the Move tool and I can drag this over to the spine of the book. Now obviously it's too big to fit on the spine, so I can do Edit, Transform and Scale. I can now bring that in comfortably where it will fit on the spine. Push enter, job done. Now one of the favourite parts of the design process for me is seeing how the designs look in 3D box shot once they're completed. So let's have a look. If I click on the book, select load and load the image in. And that is the end of cover design tutorial number 3. I hope you found it useful. If you have, if you wouldn't mind liking the video and indeed leaving a comment, I would appreciate it. Thanks a lot. Cheers then. Bye.